I'm here with Obi today, friend of Hailey, Buzbee. Good to meet you, Obi. First question, how did you first meet her and what were your first impressions of her?
I first met her, I first saw her, she went in my band class and she was wearing like a purple top and like she was carrying a clarinet case and the first thing I thought was that like she was like really pretty and I kind of want to be, there's something about her that made me want to be friends with her and me and her actually started talking when we were in a science project together and we just started getting more and more closer and yeah, that's kind of how we met.
I'm here with Darian Dos Santos. Good to see you again.
You too.
How did you first meet her and what were your first impressions of her?
I first met Hailey back in elementary school when we lived in Lawrence. We were in the same classes for like first grade and second grade. My first impression of her, she didn't talk much back then, so she was pretty shy, but also fun when you get to know her. You know, anytime you would be like at lunch with her, she'd start laughing and smiling, and it just like, you know, she's been a jokester most of her life, so yeah.
I'm here with Olivia today. How are you doing?
I'm okay.
How did you first meet her and what were your first impressions of her?
I first met Hailey in 3rd grade at Sand Creek, and my first impression of her was that she was a very shy person, but once you did get to know her, she was very, very outgoing, very energetic and humor, and she was just all around just a very good person.
I'm here with Alexa and Maroney. How are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Doing good. How did you first meet her and what were your first impressions of her?
So I first met Hailey in the 8th grade. We had some mutual friends and we ended up being in the same friend group over the summer. And at first, she was pretty quiet and I was kind of scared to talk to her, but after a while she ended up being really, really sweet and I ended up getting along with her really well.
I'm here with Isabel Salcedo. How are you doing today?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing good. How did you first meet her and what were your first impressions of her?
I first met Hailey when I was in 7th grade. We had band together and I noticed her very quickly from afar because she was very stylish and pretty and I was nervous to become friends with her. I didn't really get close to Hailey till this year, but every conversation I've had the opportunity to talk with her has been amazing.
Today I'm here with Wyatt Wilson. How are you doing today?
Pretty good.
So how did you first meet her and what were your first impressions of her?
I first met her in 8th grade. I always thought that she was pretty nice. I also thought that she was just super easy to get along with, like from the start.
Today I'm here with Savannah Wright. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. So how did you first meet her and what were your first impressions of her?
I first met Hailey in 8th grade, like a month before the end of the school year, and my first impressions of her were I thought she was so cool, so gorgeous. I went to a sleepover, like a big end of the year celebration, and she was there, and she was like the only one I wanted to talk to because I was just like so anxious to talk to everyone, but she wasn't talking to anyone. She's very quiet, so I was like, there you go, that's my chance to sleep in there.
What's something about her that people outside your circle might have never known?
She was very smart. She liked reading and she liked music too. Like she always liked listening to music and she played the clarinet prior, but she did play a little bit of piano afterwards. And she also did like anime as well, a few animes as well. Yeah.
I would say most like how funny she is, mostly, because if you just look at her, you would think she's like a shy person when you don't talk to her. But like when you actually talk to her, she's really funny and supportive.
It would have been how positive she is just about every single little scenario, or just how much little things like truly did mean to her.
Something that some people may not have known about her is how good of a big sister she really was. I remember she invited me to a Christmas party and like her little sister and her friends were playing and she ended up including like her and her friends like with the activities that we were doing, and I just thought that was so sweet of her. No matter like how young her sister was, she always wanted to include her in anything that anybody else was doing.
They definitely wouldn't have known how funny she was. Hailey was she was so easy at making simple jokes out of nothing, and she had a way of making the conversation lighter.
She used to keep to herself a lot, but once you get to know her, she's like one of those like outgoing, lively people.
She really, if you had an issue, she would really find a way to resolve it, no matter what it was, really. Even things she'd never heard of, she would find a way, or she'd think, well, what I would do is this. And most of the time, it was the best option. It was better than anybody else's advice, so.
How did she show up for people when they needed support?
She was just really understanding, and she was really funny too. So like whenever I was down, she would always like crack jokes, and that would always make me smile as well. And whenever I just needed to talk, she would just sit there and listen, and she was always so supportive.
What she did for me one time when I was struggling with my other friend who had passed away, I was sitting in a studio from our class. I didn't want to leave yet because I wasn't ready, and she literally just like sat there. Like she sat there until I was ready to get up and go. She sat there with me, she talked to me. So basically she's just like that person who is going to like not leave your side until you're for sure 100% okay.
The way she would always just like text and be like, I'm here, if anything's like you're going through a lot, just talk to me. She would always just stay by your side no matter what was happening, and she just would always be the person to like check up on you.
So like no matter how big or small a problem was, Hailey was always there to support others. I could tell you a time where my friend group and we had a sleepover, and something had really upset me that night, and I had ended up leaving. And the first notification that I had received from when I left was from Hailey, asking how I was and how I was doing and if I was okay, and I just thought that was really sweet of her. And then the next day we were going to have a pool party with all of our friends, and she was telling me how excited she was to see me the next day, and I think that just really made my night, and it instantly made me feel better.
For me particularly, in the time that her and I got closer, she always made me feel like I had a friend and someone who I could talk to, especially since we had that class together first thing in the morning, if we were tired or if we were having troubles that we could relate to, it was a nice opportunity to be able to talk to her.
She would always just text me and see how my day was going. And I know that she did the same for like others like Deacon and like you.
Always there for you. She'd always follow up on if she gave you advice about something, you said, okay, yeah, I'll say this or something like that. She would always follow up and ask you the next day or two about like, oh, how'd that go? It would never she'd never forget about it. She'd always think about it and be thinking about you.
In what ways did she influence the way you see yourself or others?
She kind of just made me feel seen, made me feel like I mattered and stuff, and that's just, like I said before, she was really supportive, and she was just easy to talk to, and that's just what I loved about our friendship.
In what ways did she influence the way you see yourself or others?
I feel like her all-around positivity, because positivity can be very, contagious, and I think she played a huge part in that. So like, it could be somebody she had just met, and so they would already like her because of how she was. Because anytime somebody looked upset, she would always try to bring the positive mood immediately.
If you could say,
Try to see as much as positive as you possibly can, but also just try to see the good in people and who they are.
if you could say 3 words that describe who she is to someone who didn't.
Hailey was such a bright light and never created any problems or drama in our friend group or anybody outside of our friend group. So she really inspired me to be kind to others no matter the circumstance, and just like always have positive energy, like no matter what the situation is.
If you could say 3 words that describe who she is to someone who didn't know her, what would they be?
I would say she is positive, caring, and like kind-hearted because she really never had any negative energy, and she was always so kind to others, never judged anybody. So, and I could always go to her for anything. She was such a safe space.
She has definitely made me see the beauty in being confident and standing out, and how it's amazing to not look like everyone else. And obviously everyone would agree that Hailey was beautiful, but her style is, I guess, less seen, but it definitely made a long-lasting impression on her inner beauty.
I always think of her as somebody that I could have looked up to. She was always like an inspiration to me because she was just like so funny and outgoing to other people that it just like inspired me to get out of my shell like back in like freshman year more and talk to more people.
I think she helped me see that I can kind of be whoever I want to be. I feel like she dressed the way she dressed, and she didn't really care about what other people thought or the way she did her makeup or the way she did anything in school or anything. She really was her own person, and I feel like through that I have that outlet too of like I can be my own person as well, and you don't have to always like the coolest things or be interested in what everyone else is interested. You can kind of branch out and find your own people.
If you could say 3 words that describe who she is to someone who didn't know her, what would they be?
She was really funny, she was caring, and she was understanding.
Supportive, understanding, caring.
Energetic, funny, just loving.
I would say she was positive, caring, and like kind-hearted because she really never had any negative energy, and she was always so kind to others, never judged anybody. So, and I could always go to her for anything. She was such a safe space.
I would say she was definitely artistic and funny and kind too.
My 3 words would probably be funny, outgoing, and witty.
Witty, entertaining, smart.
What would you tell someone your age about trusting people online, and why do you think awareness matters now more than ever?
I think it's important to be cautious, and some people they aren't always how they seem online, so it's important to be careful because certain stuff can happen if you do meet people online, and it's important to just be careful who you talk to online and stuff, and for parents as well, just like talk to your kids about meeting people online, because it could lead to dangerous stuff.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Online, as far as people, don't trust anyone because not a lot of people you see online that can seem nice until you actually like get to meet them. So I would say like don't trust anyone online and just like keep your distance. If you do see somebody online that's like trying to constantly like talk to you that you just don't feel comfortable with, just like block them, like let somebody know so they can like keep track of that, and just all around just don't just go trusting anyone you see online.
Thank you very much.
Don't do it. Don't trust people because they can always act and seem or say they're a certain age when they really aren't. And then I think it matters more than anyone is because there's more people nowadays on social media and on their phones, and it's just an easier way to get a hold of people nowadays.
Thank you very much.
What I would tell people, especially people my age and people younger, is that no matter what anybody tells you on the internet, do not trust them whatsoever. You never know who could really be behind the screen. Like, it could be someone who wants to take you or like use you for something. And so I think awareness really matters now because so many kids our age are going missing or have had very bad experiences with people online that they don't trust. So I would say you should primarily use social media to just like communicate with friends that you really do trust and that you have met in person before, not any strangers that you have met online.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Awareness awareness matters more than ever because as teenagers and as kids, we oftentimes feel like we don't have anyone we can talk to who will understand what we're going through. But there's so many resources that are put in front of our face, but sometimes we might feel scared to reach out for help or rather look for comfort somewhere else. But for people who are my age, I think it's best to just spread internet safety and keeping connections with people you can see face to face, even though you may have less of a group you could choose with.
Thank you so much.
I wouldn't talk to anybody that you can't like physically like talk to face. I think it's very important to keep that in mind and keep an open mind to who you really trust. Like if you can't have like a contact to contact relationship with them, then you probably shouldn't be talking to them.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would tell someone my age that if you are seeking out a friendship online, think about why you find that online and not find that in person. And if you only find comfort in being behind a screen, then reach out to people and reach out and see that there are people that care and there are people that want to get to know you in life. Oh, and then, sorry, what was the second question?
Oh, it's all good. Why do you think awareness matters now more than ever?
I think awareness matters more than ever because the internet is so big. Every country has access to the internet. Everybody's on the internet, all ages. I think awareness is so much bigger more than it was in like the 2000s or the 90s. Like it's so much bigger because everyone has access to it and there's so many different platforms now. It's not just like, oh, this one platform. There's so many you've never even heard of. The people, hundreds of thousands of people are on everyday platforms you've never heard of, you don't know about. And so it's important to research those platforms and find out how to keep yourself safe on them.
Thank you. All right, today I'm here with Mr. Kroll. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. So how would you describe her as a student beyond grades or performance?
Well, I think the first disclaimer I would say is I like to look at all my students outside of performance or their grades. I see them as humans first. That's really the biggest thing for me. I'm a relationship type of teacher, so to me, growing the person is just as important as it is what their performance is in school. When it comes to Hailey, there was just this magnetic personality that she had. I can't really, it's hard to explain and put into words, but she just lit up a room. And when she just smiled, like when I would lecture or do something, and as I would scan the room and she would smile and nod her head, it was just one of those students that was just like, okay, I'm doing something right, because she understood it and she kind of locked in. And so that was kind of the first sense that I had in her that I was going to enjoy having her as a student.
Was there a moment where you saw her character really shine?
I felt like she was her genuine self all the time. You know, she was, and I think that's one of the things that really stuck out to me is she was unafraid to be who she was. I'll never forget, it was probably 5-6 weeks into the semester, and I like to notice things. That's just my personality. And she had this sense of style that was just unlike any of the kids that I see in school. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna tell her. And so the class was over, she was leaving for lunch, and I was like, Hailey, I just want you to know, like, you have the coolest style, like, that I have ever seen. And like, if they had awards for like most stylish student, you would win it by far. And she just like lit up and was like, wow, that's one of the nicest things anybody's ever said to me, and stuff like that. And it was kind of a bond that we had from that point, which I thought was pretty cool.
How did she handle challenges or pressure?
You know, it's interesting. You know, when you have work or you do things and you're lecturing or they're working on work, you see different levels of what students do and can do, and you can see those instances where their personalities change, whether they're stressed or they're confused. Like you can kind of, after a certain number of years, you can kind of read their faces and their emotions as a teacher. I never really got that from her. She just always seemed happy all the time. Now, again, you know, it's I try and keep things in check because I always try and put the happy face on as a teacher. Besides what's going on in my own life, I want to put out like a happy, positive vibe in my class. And she always put out that happy, positive vibe. Did I absolutely know what was going on inside of her? No, I don't with any of my students, but that's part of why I do what I do is to kind of tap into that and let them know like that means something to me as a teacher.
What kind of future did you hope to see for her?
Really the same I have for any students. Like I don't particularly like to single certain students out with that, but the first thing I would say is back when we had parent-teacher open house, I would always tell my parents every year, I would say, if your student walks out of here knowing more about marketing, then I've failed. But if your student walks out of here a better person who knows more about marketing, then I've succeeded, because that's really what my goal is. And I just want to see each person be the best version of themselves and to be unafraid to be the best version of themselves they can be. Find the things that they enjoy doing and then get paid to do those things, which is why I love LinkedIn, because I just love seeing my students like go out and do their thing and rise through the ranks, and it just makes me happy to see them succeed, and I fully expect that for all my students.
What qualities does she have that you hope students carry forward?
Innocence, not naivety. Those are two different things. She had joy. You don't see a ton of joy in students nowadays. And I think the willingness to be who she was. Like, she was unafraid to wear the clothes that she wanted to wear because she liked them. She was unafraid to like the music she liked or the characters or the colors or whatever that she liked. She was authentically herself. And I think, from my point of view, she was authentically herself. And I think students could learn a lot from that in not worrying so much about what other people think or how many friends do I have or those kind of things. She was one of those kids that I saw it a little bit, but I felt like it was going to be her. Like, she was one of those students that I felt like could get along with any grouping. You know, you have your jocks and your band kids, and you have your nerds and those anime kids or what, like there's all kinds of groups. Like, I was a nerd when I was in high school, but I felt like she could get along with anybody, and to me that was a special trait.
What do you think schools can do to better educate students about online safety?
I want to keep my job. I think throwing devices at them and expecting them to know how to use them is a giant mistake on our part. Yes, we live in a digital world, but that does not mean we all know how to use things, we all know how to understand things, and we all know how to interpret and understand what's put out there. Just talking about that today with actually some teachers at lunch. Like, I'm 57 years old, and I don't understand what is real and what is not online. So how could a 16, 17-year-old understand that? And I think the better we can get at figuring out together as a society how to do that, but more importantly as schools. And starting at younger ages. When kids are getting iPads in first, second grade, that's the time to start. We had a discussion last year about, man, we got to teach kids how to use AI. And I was like, if you wait till they're in 9th grade to teach them about AI, you've lost. Because they know about it in 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. The toothpaste is out of the tube. So we have to start way earlier with these kids. And, you know, I think maybe having those devices at those young ages it's just not good.
Thank you so much. Today I'm here with Mr. Pfister. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for asking.
Of course. How would you describe her as a student beyond grades and performance?
Kind. Hailey was kind. She was generous. She was helpful. She made sure everybody was included. She was a very inclusive person, and she was helpful.
Was there a moment where you saw her character really shine?
Yeah. So we did a final project in astronomy, and she was frustrated, as was her partner, but it was the persistency. You know, she was very persistent, and she kept after it, and they eventually got it, and they did a great job on it.
How did she handle challenges or pressure?
That persistence, that just general, almost like water on rock, just continuous grinding away at it. She wouldn't let herself shut down out of frustration. She would take a second and then she would keep after it.
What kind of future did you hope to see for her?
Whatever one she wanted. I know journalism was like a passion of hers. And so I really saw her being in investigative journalism because she was so helpful. She was always helpful for others, you know, and she would reach out even when people were, you know, when she put me on the news, you know, she knew I was trying to start a business, and she had ways of being helpful that not normal people see, right? Like, especially somebody her age. And she was a problem solver, and she would go out of her way to help others. Like, it's not something that most people are accustomed to, I guess, let's put it that way.
What qualities does she have that you hope students carry forward?
Her persistence in attacking problems, the continuous tenacity of staying with something even though it's frustrating, and then the kindness and generosity, like her willingness to help others, like even when people aren't even asking for it, was very special.
Finally, what do you think schools could do to better educate students about online safety?
Ooh, that's a tough one. A lot of times we have initiatives and we go into it hot and heavy, and then, yeah, they're important, but, you know, we say our piece and it's like almost a box that we check. And it's something that is filed away, and hey, we did this, and we can say on this date we talked about this. Well, it shouldn't be talked about on a date. It should be talked about on several days. And I think if you or anyone else, if you're being honest with yourselves, if you're in a class and there's certain standards or certain skills or certain things that you want people to know to do or to look out for, or you don't talk about it once, you don't talk about it twice, we talk about it several times. Right, and it's reiterated, it's discussed, and then it's brought back up again, and then it's brought back up again, and there are reminders, right? Reminders that go out and say, hey, don't do this. This can happen. And I think, based on what I have heard from Hailey's family, I think they would want us to remind people of Hailey and her situation. And so this is very much a real thing that happened in this community, and so she should be mentioned.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
So how did you find out the news that Hailey had passed?
So I was getting ready for a basketball game on that Sunday that they had announced that there was going to be a announcement about Hailey. My dad had told me that, and then as I was ready, I was downstairs waiting for my parents so we could go. my friend, she had texted me if the game was still going on, and I was confused, like yeah. And she goes, "Did you hear the news?" I'm like, "About what?" She then asked me if I was alone. I was like, "Yeah." And then she called me and then told me that they had pronounced her dead. I was like, at first I was in a great state of shock because I was like, all I could do was sit there and just stare. There was a long pause, and then she asked me if I was okay. I was like, I'm not completely okay, but like the whole thing hasn't really kicked in yet because I had just heard about it. And so next I told my parents, and they were in complete shock. Because they know I've known Hailey for a long time, and they just felt bad for me and especially the Buzbee family and what they were going through. And so I was in the car just listening to music, having a lot of the memories that me and Hailey had just playing in the back of my head since the beginning. And then I played my game. Me and my friend Max, we decided to dedicate our basketball seasons, because we play in 2 leagues, for her. And the halftime of that game is when things turned around for me. I was like, I'm not about to lose a game, because I know that's not what she would want me to do. She wants me to play my hardest, and I wasn't playing my hardest in the first game, like the first half. And then the second half came, and I was like, I could feel her, like, there. So we did better, we won the game. I went home, then I started thinking more. But like, me and my friend, we were like really upset about it, and then we said, we're just gonna have this season for her, because I know she would want us to win and do our best and do what we can.
Nice story. Hi, my name is Tyler Miller, and I'm with the Buzbee family. May you introduce yourselves? Sir?
I'm Bo Buzbee, Hailey's father.
I'm Sabria Buzbee, Hailey's sister.
I'm Rania Buzbee, Hailey's stepmom.
It's great to see you guys again. First question I want to ask, what was she like as a little kid?
She was a princess, and Hailey loved to dress up in princess dresses as a little kid. She loved her stuffed animals, but mostly she loved her princess dresses, and she had many of them, and she had butterfly wings and fairy outfits, and so it was a new princess every day in our house.
Did she have a favorite princess?
I think Tiana was her favorite.
And she likes trinkets.
And trinkets, yeah. She loved little trinkets. She carried, we call them knickknacks, but she carried those everywhere. So before I did her laundry, I would have to kind of shake her pants or her jackets and make sure there weren't, any little toys in there. And there always was.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
She would dance a lot, always had music on and dancing. And she was actually really outgoing and gregarious as a little kid, and then as she got older, she became more introverted. But as a little one, she was very outgoing.
So sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. When did you first notice her personality starting to shine?
I think almost immediately. As a baby, you could just tell she had a very sweet and caring spirit about her, and so as she matured, she was able to hold on to that, which was so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was a fun kid. She had a very fun personality. She loved to, we were always doing something, and her little laugh, she was always having a good time. So.
Yeah, she was a very sweet person ever since I met her. What were her dreams growing up? What was a tradition that you guys shared together?
I think she started with wanting to own a restaurant.
Yeah.
With my niece, and maybe moving to New York. And I always used to joke with her, saying that I was going to provide the entertainment and be the rapper at the restaurant. So that was always a joke
Yeah.
about how I was going to do it and she wasn't going to let me.
We were in
Yeah.
we were at a restaurant in Kentucky, me and Bo and Hailey and her cousin Mimi, and we were talking about this potential restaurant in the future, and they were talking about how they were going to have salt and vinegar fries. I remember because they both like salt and vinegar potato chips, and they're like, we're going to turn it into French fries. And we sat there forever, and Bo started rapping. This is when he came up with the idea that he was going to be the entertainment, I think. And he comes out with this crazy rap, and these girls are just cracking up. I mean, it was the giggles, just like this one here. But it was so much fun.
Do you remember the rap at all?
No, I don't.
I'm pretty sure I have a video.
Oh, that's awesome.
Then as she got older, you know, she got more interested in, I'll say, communications and journalism and in those areas. She was always a very good writer. I remember reading some of her projects and assignments and just being so impressed with how well she could write. And then it seemed like every year, oftentimes, she would get compliments from her teachers about how talented she was as a writer. So that was really cool. So yeah, I think the restaurant business, that dream might not have stuck with her, but we still have some good laughs and memories from that.
I would have definitely gone to that restaurant.
Yeah.
I mean, she was a server, her first job.
She was a server.
She kind of lived out that dream a little bit.
And I was always impressed with how she took her time to make her food taste good. You know, so many of us, to include myself, you know, I just want something now, but she would take her time and to prepare it so that it tasted good. And I always appreciated her patience when it came to that.
He gave her a $20 tip.
Really? I do want to try that buffalo omelet. It's at Tracks right now. I haven't gone yet, but I would love to try that out.
Yeah,
it's
it's
called
good.
the Hailey Smash Burger.
Wait, it actually is?
It is. They have it on the menu. So it's an egg, it's bacon, it's a burger patty, and then it has the buffalo sauce on it.
Like
And
her
it's
favorite
delicious.
breakfast sandwiches.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's where it came from.
I'd love to try that. As soon as I heard that in the note, I was like, oh, I gotta try that.
It's really good.
It's good.
Yeah. And then I'd say, as far as tradition goes, we're pretty traditional. We have a lot of traditions. So Christmas time, usually the whole family comes to our house, and we have a big meal, and everyone's here, and then we play games. And Bo is in charge of the games. So I'm in charge of the food, and Bo's in charge of the games, and he does not mess around.
Oh, it's pretty competitive.
And we are a very competitive family, and it's a lot of fun. So that's one of our traditions. And a few years ago, we started doing the tradition of ice skating on Christmas Eve.
Oh, really?
So we've been doing that for about 3 years now. And just holidays with the family. I think that's, our biggest traditions are with our family and spending holidays and birthdays and all that good stuff together. So
I bet Dad wanted to play Mancala for the game.
you think so?
Yeah.
Does she have a favorite game that you guys like to play together?
Mario Kart. We used to play Mario Kart a lot.
Me and Dad still play it.
Yeah.
I still play it. It's a great game.
It's fun.
It's a lot of fun. What's a favorite memory that makes you smile almost immediately?
I think just her presence.
I think dinners and just talking, and we would play games at the dinner table. So we have this game, Guess the Animal game, where we give each other clues. One of us thinks of an animal, and we give each other clues, and the other person tries to guess what animal we're thinking of. And Hailey was, always telling jokes at the dinner table, and
Me and my sister played the animal game all the
Oh.
time.
yeah, but we played it a lot at dinner, didn't we? Yeah.
So
A
she,
lot of bad jokes.
yeah,
A lot of the
she
joke,
did.
yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
And she was always so thoughtful, just to see how others were doing and how their day was going. As soon as we got home, she would, come right up to us ask us how our day was, give us a hug and a kiss, and just always so thoughtful and interested in others. So, when she always made everyone feel special and by really caring, for them. So I think those were special.
Yeah, I definitely have a few of those memories where she would always come up to me and see if I was doing okay, and I'd be like, yeah. We're just in band class. I hate this class so much. And we both raved about how much we did not like it. I mean, but just being with her was really fun. What is something about her that most people didn't get to see?
Yeah, I think if Hailey didn't know you, you would think that she was shy and soft-spoken, but she, for those that didn't know her, have a close relationship with her. When she got to know you, she was very goofy and silly and playful. So I think that's the other side of her that maybe a lot of people didn't see that didn't know her well, and that was always something we always enjoyed. So.
What do you want people to remember most about her?
Yeah, I think just how loving and caring she is as a person. She really went out of her way to make others feel special, and she, for example, like when she got someone gifts, she always put a lot of time and effort and thought into the gift because she wanted that person to know that she knew them.
They're very customized gifts. So I'm a plant lady, if you can't tell. And that plant is sitting in a little special custom made. Not something that Hailey got for me, that sunflower one there, but
Oh, that's nice.
And some of the leaves are pink.
Yeah. But just, she really put a lot of thought into that, and she's just a very special person. Just kindest heart. She's just perfect.
What would she want other teens to learn from this?
Yeah, I think, it's as we get older, we think we know more about this world than we actually do, and we may trust more than we should. So I think just enjoy being a kid, and as hard as it is, just listen to your parents and their guidance and try to use that, because that's all they want for you is your safety, your well-being, and your happiness. So I think something along those lines. I think so.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. How can parents better protect and communicate with their kids about online safety?
Yeah, I think we try our best, and continuously monitoring our kids and what they're doing and how they're feeling, and but there are just so many risks, even when families try to mitigate those. We can't be with our kids at all times, even if we feel like we got a good monitoring assessment at home. And so I think a couple of things. One is, I think we need to advocate, because families are competing against experts who are trying to reach our kids. and we need to advocate to try and put better protections in place so that it won't happen, or it won't happen as often. And then I think just talking to your kids and just making sure that they know if they are in a dangerous situation, you just want to know about it to help them, and you know there won't be any, they won't be in any trouble for it. You know, I think we've seen examples of kids coming forward from this, and in the lesson, you know, parents just be more accepting of whatever situation they may have been in. So I think that's something we need to continue to do. And I think it's also just important to you know, just stay diligent. It's just it's tough right now for families and the risks that being in this online world present. And I know we're not going to be able to fully mitigate them, but you know, it's just continue to, you know, to do your best and just checking in on your kids and being close and yeah, I think that's what I would say.
I agree. I think, you know, educating yourself on some of these apps that are out there, because, you know, as parents, we don't always know exactly what's the new app, you know, like what are the kids using. So just kind of understanding what's out there, and if there are parental controls on any of the apps, to kind of explore those. And but yeah, I mean, everything Bo said.
Yeah, I think you know, just because you don't see it or you can't find it doesn't mean that it's not there in your child's life. And there's you know, there's some of these apps just feel like they're designed to hide. And if you do need information about your child's account or activity from some of these apps, after law enforcement's able to send that request or warrant, I think parents should know that the turnaround time could be days, weeks, months, and sometimes never. From what I've understood is that some of these apps don't respond, but they're available in our society. So, you know, I think it's, again, going back to advocating and just, you know, fighting for our kids, to let our lawmakers know, you know, this is acceptable or it's not acceptable in our communities and in society.
I really like that. Thank you so much. Now the question's for you.
Yay!
Alright. What's your favorite memory with your sister?
Her.
Just her, all of her?
She always did fun things with you, right?
Yeah.
And mommy and daddy went out and she had to babysit. You guys were never just sitting around, right? You were always doing something fun.
And her cookies are
She'd make cookies for you.
What kind of cookies did you guys make?
chocolate chip.
Chocolate chip cookies, really? That's nice.
How many did you actually get out, though, because of all the cookie dough that you ate? That was the most fun part, was eating all the cookie dough, right?
I love cookie dough.
Sissy
Cookie
did
dough's
too.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Cookie dough ice cream.
I don't know how much we usually make. It's been a while.
It's so good.
What's something that she taught you? Could be character-wise, could be like
How to put makeup on, how to put face masks on, and eye patches.
The important things. Yeah. All the girly things, right?
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about her?
Her.
Her again?
Yeah.
And if she were watching this right now, what would you want to tell her?
I miss you!
That's
Really too good.
We all miss her. I miss her a lot too. It doesn't still feel real, but yeah.
He's like, I want to be in the video.
Do you want to answer a question? Well, thank you so much for doing this. I'm really glad
thank
we were
you.
able to do this. And we really hope that this makes people more aware of the dangers of talking to strangers online. And we hope that parents can, monitor better.
Yeah.
And just hope for, safety of kids everywhere. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Tyler.
Stranger danger.
And one last thing, is there anything that you want to say so people aren't misconstrued of like who she was as a person?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hailey spent a lot of time, school, work, with family. She wasn't a gamer. She didn't even have a PC or an iPad in her room besides her school equipment. And so it goes to show that there's still risks, even if you aren't or your child's not in their room all the time gaming. It's still there, it's still present. So I just, even if your kid's busy in activities and other things, there's still a risk of them being touched and talked to by by someone that doesn't have good intentions. So I think that's I think when these things happen, we can easily think that, well, the kid was probably in their room a lot playing games and parents weren't watching it, but that wasn't the case. Her door was always open during the day when she was in there. That was a rule we had. Phone downstairs at night. She didn't do a lot of games. We had other controls in place. So, it's just, we're all vulnerable, and it can happen to any child, and that's why we all need to help, because we're all at risk, and we just need to make it safer for our kids. So.
Completely agree. That's why we started Protect Our Peers. We wanted to help people that with the situation and make sure that they're aware of what potential consequences could happen, and we want to make sure this doesn't happen. Because we can't stop them all, but we want to prevent it from happening.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.